Hi, my name is Sarah Chapman, and today we are doing the fourth episode in a series of 5 exploring the construction of the dovetail sweater. Today we will be dividing the body and sleeves of the dovetail sweater. Okay, this is the dovetail sweater that we've been working on. Just a quick recap, we have the 1x1 neck ribbing, we have the short rows for the back of the neck, we have completed the colorwork yoke, and now we have all the stitches on the needle needed for the body and sleeves of this sweater. And I just wanted to show what it looks like on the finished dovetail sweater here. So what I'm talking about is we have all of these sleeve stitches, all of these body stitches, and all of these sleeve stitches on the needle currently. So the purpose of dividing for the body and sleeves is to separate these stitches from the body stitches from these sleeve stitches in order to continue to knit them. So here we are on the dovetail sweater, and just to orient ourselves, we have once again all of the stitches for the body and sleeves on the needle currently. Here's my beginning of round marker. I've knitted the number of stitches needed to reach the first dividing for the left sleeve. I've gone ahead and counted the number of stitches needed for that left sleeve, and I've put a marker there. That way when I'm slipping stitches, I'm not juggling stitches on my needle, on the contrast yarn. It's just already counted out, and I've double checked to make sure it's the proper number of stitches. So when we slip stitches to a waste yarn, we take our needle, and once again, just looking at this yarn here, so this is my contrast yarn. As you can see, it's a single ply, it's slightly lighter in weight. That's totally fine. Your waste yarn, you want it to be the same weight or just a little bit lighter, and a high contrast color from your working yarn. Just makes it easier to see who's who on your contrast yarn. So when you're slipping stitches, what you want to do is slip them purlwise. So as you can see, I'm not twisting the stitches in any way, I'm keeping them in their same orientation. And just pull the yarn through, and just repeat all of the sleeve stitches, slipping them on waste yarn. As you can see, I'm taking it nice and slowly, making sure to not twist any of those stitches. You could also use a stitch holder for this task, but we would recommend actually using this waste yarn method because it does not distort the stitches, and it also allows you to try on the sweater as you go because they're nice and flexible on the waste yarn. Okay, so I've slipped most of the sleeve stitches onto my contrast yarn here, and I'm at just the last few, and you can see I'm about to run into the marker that I've placed there, indicating the last of the sleeve stitches. I'm just going to pull those back just a little bit. I'm going to take the yarn off the needle, and I'm just going to take the 2 ends of my yarn and do a quick little knot. These will make sure that the stitches don't go anywhere. And as you can see, you can start to have the sleeve taking shape. However, we do need to do some underarm cast on stitches. So here we are back with the working yarn, and what we're going to do is the E-loop cast on, also known as the backwards loop cast on. So I have the yarn on my thumb here, and I'm going to twist the yarn and make a stitch. Thumb, twist, needle going through, and again, yarn on my thumb, twist, needle coming through. You can see these stitches are now gathering on the right hand needle. I'm going to do 2 more. And that is the backwards loop cast on. So when I join my needles again to continue to knit in the round, these stitches just provide a little way to fill in that gap where my sleeve is. Okay, so here we are on the second sleeve, ready to slip the stitches. I just want to do a quick review here. We just slipped these sleeve stitches and knitted across the front of the dovetail sweater, and now we're ready to slip the stitches of the second sleeve. So just repeating the same process, I've counted the number of sleeve stitches and I put a marker there just as an indicator of the stopping point of where I can finish slipping the stitches for the sleeve. So here we are once again with the tapestry needle with my contrast waste yarn, and I'm slipping the stitches as before, purlwise, and not twisting them so they stay in the same orientation and they don't get twisted. Okay, here I am just a couple stitches away from my marker here indicating the end of the sleeve stitch section. I'm going to go ahead and slip these last two, and I will be ready to do the underarm cast on stitches. And just a refresher, those stitches help close the gap of the sleeve where it meets the body. Okay, so just a loose knot there and bringing together my two needles here. Okay, so just a refresher on the backwards loop cast on, thumb, twist, and make the new stitch. Thumb, twist, make new stitch, and a couple more for my, oh, as you can see I missed. One more, making sure to really catch that yarn on the needle, and last stitch. Okay, so you can see the 5 new stitches I have here, and I'm ready to start knitting again in the round. Okay, so we have now completed the dividing round. Just to double check where we are, we have the sleeve stitches on a holder over here, and on the opposite side we have the sleeve stitches on our holder over here. You can see that now we have a sleeve, and a body, and now we are going to continue to knit in the round for the body. Just a couple notes here. Always a reminder to alternate skeins when knitting with hand-dyed yarn. As you can see, this is my first skein moving on to my second skein. Just a little different in tonality, which makes it, really charming, but alternating skeins while knitting is a good idea. And the way that you do that is just you would knit a couple rounds, switch to the other skein, and knit a couple rounds and repeat that process, just so you can get an even tonality in the body and sleeves. Another note is the body shape. The dovetail is knit with a straight side here with no shaping. If you are interested in shaping either by bringing it in a little bit or bringing it out a little bit, that's a really great question to ask your LYS. And also in terms of length, if you prefer a cropped length or a longer length, another good question to consult with your LYS. Just keeping in mind, if you do prefer the longer body length, that may require a little bit more yarn than the pattern calls for. Okay, that wraps up episode 4 of the Dovetail Sweater, where we have done the dividing round and we're now ready to knit the body and sleeves.